News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The long-awaited agreement, the draft agreement over the CSKT water rights has been released. Good morning, everyone. It is Montana Morning. Congratulations, you made it. It's Friday, January the 9th, 2015. 17 degrees in Missoula right now. The sky is mostly cloudy. Not a whole lot of fog in the area this morning. We have our newscast sponsored by Temp-Right Service. Got any plumbing or heating problems? A little chilly out there. Call Team Blue 728-1111. Our top story this morning. A long-awaited draft agreement over water rights between the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes, the state of Montana, and the United States government was finally released yesterday. Staff attorney for the Montana Reserve-wide Water Right Compact, Melissa Ann Hornby, told me that the settlement agreement is composed of two parts.
Compact itself, and that is the document that quantifies all of the tribe reserved water rights within the state of Montana, both on and off the reservation. The second part is what is called the Unitary Administration and Management Ordinance. It's also referred to as the Law of Administration.
Hornbein said without an agreement, there have been numerous long and expensive court fights between non-members and the tribes over water use.
We've seen a very long-term litigation with, in many cases, pretty negative results for existing state users who have valid water rights but junior priority dates to the tribes.
Public meetings to discuss the draft agreement begin today at 4 in Ronan, Saturday up in Kalispell, and again on Monday in Helena. Now, you can get complete details, including the proposal and a shortened summary and meeting dates and times on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. It is a very lengthy document, but it is worth your time to read it, especially if you live in the area near the reservation. A northern Idaho man who went missing during a weekend snowmobile outing says he had given up hope of surviving when his friends found him hypothermic and dehydrated in a ravine in northwestern Montana. Barry Sadler of Mullen, Idaho, says he took a wrong turn on Sunday. The snow gave way and he ended up in a creek with a snowmobile on top of him. He was able to push the sled away and intermittently ran its engine for heat over the next 30-plus hours. He said he had written notes to his wife and kids on his cell phone and expected to freeze to death when the sled ran out of gas at about 10 p.m. Monday. But 2 hours later, 5 friends who had followed his snowmobile tracks came to his rescue. 25 states, including Montana, want the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn a circuit court decision upholding gun restrictions in San Francisco. State Attorney General Tim Fox says the state has joined with other states in an amicus or friend of court brief.
San Francisco passed a city ordinance a while back that required its citizens to store their handguns either in a locked container or put a trigger lock on their guns.
Fox says the U.S. Supreme Court has decided several other cases that have set precedents in these matters.
The McDonald versus Chicago case and the District of Columbia versus Heller case that says that citizens have to be permitted to use handguns for the core lawful purpose of self-defense.
Fox says he believes the court will consider this case during its present term. Montana Junior Senator Steve Daines joined with the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee yesterday to approve construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, clearing the way for the full Senate vote. Daines had this comment.
What this means for Montana, first of all, it's 100,000 barrels a day of Montana and North Dakota oil that enters that pipeline, a small town called Baker, Montana. Second, as I was traveling one day, the Norval Co-op in Glasgow, Montana, they told me that the Keystone Pipeline's approved electric rates for their co-op payers. And I can tell you, those are folks that don't have a lot of money. Their rates will remain flat for the next 10 years because of the Keystone Pipeline.
Daines says the pipeline will supply electricity for countless Montanans.
The Keystone Pipeline's not approved. The electric rates for those hardworking Montana families will go up 40% in the next 10 years. It's $80 million a year in tax revenues for the state of Montana and for these rural counties that desperately need infrastructure to pay for roads, for bridges, for teachers, for schools.
After Daines introduced several letters from Montanans in support of the reconstruction, the bill passed in the committee with bipartisan support. Daines also says he's signing on in support of a congressional term limits bill. Senate Joint Resolution 1, introduced by Republican Representative David Vitter of Louisiana, proposes a constitutional amendment that would limit the number of terms that a Congress member can hold to 3 2-year terms in the House or 2 6-year terms in the Senate. Daines says term limits will help ensure that government is accountable to the people rather than the congressman's career and will bring new voices with fresh ideas to the Capitol. The bill has 10 other co-sponsors and has been referred to the Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Missoula City fire crews did their monthly training exercise on the Clark Fork River yesterday, practicing ice rescues. Battalion Chief Derek Mullins says the department has specialized equipment for ice rescue.
Specific to ice rescue, we have a cataract, which is a raft with the 2 pontoons kind of on each side with a frame on it that enables the crews to push out on shelf ice and then row in the river. It's pretty maneuverable, can get across the shelf ice, and that's what we use to rescue people.
Mullins says winter weather poses unique dangers when people and their pets get too close to the river.
Venturing out on the ice, it's hard to tell how thick the ice is underneath, and if you were to fall through in any kind of current, that current could sweep you away and take you under the ice. So that's pretty dangerous.
The fire department urges residents to stay safe and stay off that frozen water. Governor Steve Bullock has raised nearly $320,000 toward his 2016 re-election campaign, most of which was raised in the last year. Lead newspapers report the Democratic governor had about $273,000 left in the bank at the end of 2014. Montana State Legislator Democrat Tom Woods of Bozeman has been protesting a bevy of new rules proposed in the Montana State House of Representatives. This week, most of the laws Woods was contesting have been rescinded.
We no longer have a dress code, which the Speaker rescinded, and I'm pretty darn happy about that. It allowed me to wear my family kilt on the floor on the first day of session here. As well, the Republican Party rescinded their attempt to create a supermajority hurdle when the Speaker decides to re-refer a bill to appropriations.
Another rule that went out the window dealt with the public's access during floor sessions.
They've gone back on their attempt to bar the public from the House floor, and I'm pretty happy about that. And they also reinstated the titles for the minority party vice chair. So those are all good things.
Yesterday, Woods was advocating for a new rule that would make it easier for legislators to vote on bills that had been tabled. Our News Talk time now is 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly sunny skies today with our high temperatures climbing into the upper 20s. We'll see areas of fog after midnight, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. Isolated snow showers expected Saturday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.